David Smearden is an Australian grandmaster known for his book The Complete Chess Swindler, in which he instructs you how to swindle your opponents. This video is not at all about that. I'm just crediting the great author of this insane chess game. In this game, David Smearden does the insanity and suffocates his opponent's pieces. Suffocates in the real way that his opponent's pieces literally could not play out of lack of oxygen on the chessboard. Let's get into the game. Smearden has the white pieces, to which his poor opponent has black. He starts off with e4, to which his opponent goes e5. After knight f3, attacking the pawn, knight f6 is an interesting and second most popular rebuttal in this position, called the Petrov's defense. Here it is a very known defense by the black pieces, has gained a lot of popularity over the past years, and is pretty good for black. It's a very solid opening that has a reputation of being quite drawish. Smearden here goes for d4, a more attacking line here instead of taking and going for more drawish lines. So d4, pretty aggressive here, opening up the center, opening up the game, the type of things that we like to see. His opponent takes on d4, to which e5 is now played here, attacking the knight. Now this is still book. I'm not too familiar in this opening, in this line, but here I'm just going by logic. You're attacking the knight before you take back the pawn on tempo. And after knight d5, which is the first non-book move of the game, now we start in with queen takes d4. I like this by Smearden, not only taking the pawn that was owed back to him, but also attacking a piece. This is called tempo moves. Initiative gaining moves here. And now after c6, a dull move to defend this knight, we can see that these pawns are kind of mishapped in the sense that this knight has to develop in some weird way on a6. And we're already seeing these two pieces kind of being binded by these odd pawns on b7, c6, and d7, giving you a little taste for what will happen later on in this game. c4 is played here, attacking the knight, and after knight b4, threatening this triple royal fork, but at this level this doesn't happen. Smearden defends with knight a3. This was a blitz game. I just want to say this loud and clear, because we don't always think that when analyzing these games pretty much in depth, and you'll see that for a blitz game, this is incredibly impressive, no matter the level, like insanely impressive. Knight a3 defends c2. Queen a5, and now black comes in with a second threat in a row. Really interesting. Comes in, threatening knight c2, double check on this king, which would pick up at least a queen, if not a mate. But no, this is a queen mating threat. So bishop d2 is played, and here this allows for queen takes a3, a move that black plays. And so here, it's not completely winning, but you are doing enough, sacrificing your queen, to dismantle white's pawns. And after knight c2, triple royal fork, the white pieces obviously, I think, saw this. And after king d1, you can take, and this, at least, you're taking back the knight. And now it's completely equal, though the white pawns are absolutely terrible. Look at this horrendous pawn structure. This is an isolated pawn, this is an isolated pawn, and this is a double isolated pawn island on the a file. Very, very bad. Good thing is that all of these pawns are on closed files, so at least it's difficult for the white pieces, or for the black pieces, sorry, to just open up these files and attack these pawns directly with rooks. Bishop takes on a3, and now black gains a pawn up. Knight f5 is played, attacking g7, and after castles, knight d6. Here you're really playing against the fact that you don't want black to just open up their position. And you're just pressing your pieces against this d7 pawn, really restricting the movement of this bishop. It's quite nice. After bishop takes d6, e takes d6. None of these pieces have moved. Although black is up a pawn, it's not that obvious to concretize this advantage, because these pieces are looking very, very undeveloped. They haven't moved all game. The entire queen side of major pieces and minor pieces has not moved this game. Crazy. b6 is played, finally opening up for this bishop or knight. Amazing. And now rook b1, bishop b7, c5. I love this move. c5 attacks b6, and this pawn is pinned. You cannot take because I win a full piece on b7. And here it kind of just forces a really bad move out of black. Like, what are they supposed to do? Give a pawn here. This is the best suggestion by the engine. Giving a pawn, that's how good c5 is. Because now after b5 and black kind of getting greedy, right? Not giving back the material to get their pieces out, are gonna suffer long term from this. Because now these pieces are looking not developable in the future. Leave that in, editor, leave that in. Wow. And so after a4, attacking this b pawn, again, a pinned pawn. Like, this is a pinned pawn right here. a6 to defend that pawn. And now white goes on with a5. Now things have started. Things have started very nicely. a5, and I don't know if you've recognized this right now, but this bishop is completely trapped. Bro has three moves, three legal squares, and that is it. The knight is also completely trapped in this blitz game, has no squares on c6, d7, or a6. And by extension of that, this rook cannot move because this knight absolutely can't move. The white pieces so far have not played for themselves. We're not seeing insane development, active pieces, you know, insane moves, right? We haven't seen anything. We're seeing space. White did gain space from these pawns, but we've largely seen white play against the black pieces. And this is the lesson of today. Play against your opponent. Know what they don't like, and then play against that. Make your opponent pieces worse than yours. So here we have locked up in jail, however you want to see it, in jail or in a bank safe, 3, 6, 11 points of material. In exchange for what? 1, 2, 3 guards? Prison guards here? 3 prison guards in exchange of 14 points of material. The police is doing well in the society, locking up these criminals here. So, rook e8, bishop e3, and now, like, we've locked everyone up, we can develop, we can bring this game to life. And now we're finally seeing bishop d3. On move 19, we're developing that light squared bishop. Rook a7, the black pieces don't know what they're doing. Rook e1, you just want to trade off the last active piece from the black pieces, so you have 2 bishops and a rook against basically nothing. And so that's what happens. After king f8, look, if you don't trade, I'm coming in on e7 and it's quite over. So king f8, and now rook takes, king takes, and bishop b4. This is the final move that just completely takes out the black pieces. Officially now, the black pieces cannot do anything about this. If this bishop stays on b4, the black pieces are over with. Done. Done for. And now it's rook and bishop against king and 3 pawns on the king side. I've never seen a game like this. I actually, in my memory, I cannot physically think of a game as insane as this. So, bishop e4 coming in. King f8, king d2. I mean, white are taking their time. They're on the beach, on vacation, on holiday. They got the all-inclusive hotel. They got some bishops. They got some rooks to play. They got time. Bishop c8. For why? Your rook ain't going out. Nothing's happening. Rook e1, and then rook b7. And so here, rook e8 is playing. Okay, this is where David Smearden kind of went a little bit obnoxious and went for a rook e8. I don't mean like obnoxious in a bad way, but like obnoxious in the way like you just give all away. Basically, he's telling his opponent, I don't need this rook because you have absolutely nothing here. And after king takes, bishop takes on h7, and g6 locks up the bishop. Like, he's giving things away. It's Christmas early, Rev. Speaking of which, I kind of want to see the movie Home Alone. I kind of have an urge to see that right now. Just mentioning Christmas, already in the spirit of the holidays. 3 months early, you guys. World record. So g6 now, and now king e3. We're just bringing the king up. And by the way, may I say, throughout all this, the engine is going crazy, confused. It's like we played a prank on the engine here. On rook e8, the engine is giving -3 for black. And then on bishop takes h7, the engine was giving -2. But then we come up 2 moves later, nothing has changed, and now it's suddenly a draw. And look how the engine is going to change their mind in just a few moves later. So king f8, bishop takes g6, f takes g6. Again, the engine doesn't understand this type of position because it has trouble understanding blocked pieces, or like a lot of material that is useless. That's the weakness of the engine, I feel like I say. And if you disagree with that, please do so in the comments. I would like to hear your input. King f4 is played, and now it's basically I mean he could use his bishop if he wanted to, but it's basically a king endgame. This is frustrating for black. I mean, it's really, we can flip the board momentarily. I know it's a bit scary, but it's basically a king endgame 3v1. It's absolutely hilarious. It's like we put in, like, these are clouds on this board. We could remove all of this right now and it would be absolutely pertinent to the result of this game. Rook a7 is played, and apparently this is a big losing move. g5 is drawing, but I don't believe this actually. g4, I don't believe this at all. I don't believe this. King e6. Oh, you actually don't want to let this happen. Right. So black actually, okay, I should do my commentator's job. So black actually needs to deflect the king off of the e6 square so this king can come here and try to liberate its own pieces. Like, the king going to c4 is a big logistical problem and could lead to a draw. So here, after king f5, g4, f3 would be nice. And after g takes, you never give this e6 square. You push this pawn up, and you push this pawn up as well, and the king will have to give in at some point in the game. So the rook on b, I'm waking up right now. The rook on b7 actually is well placed, because now it forces our bishop to be kept on b4. So it's really just a king, two pawns against a king, and you need to take up e6, absolutely. That's basically the decortication. No, that's a French word. Décortication for my French speakers. That's the decortication of this position. Okay, so this didn't happen. This didn't actually happen. The king went to e5, and then rook a7, and then h4. And basically white made a protected pass pawn on h5 and called it a day. Like, rook b7, king f5, we just take a pawn, we push the pawn. And here, the black pieces are useless. They find themselves useless in this position because now we're just hiking pawns. We just ate breakfast, right, with this pawn on g5. Cozy breakfast. It's a leisure 5-star hotel right now. All inclusive. We're bringing up our pawns, having some fun with it. So bishop is collapsing, goes to a8. f5 is coming onto the board. It's just a landslide here. f6 coming into f7. f7 here, ignoring the free rook. And here after bishop e7, you can even just check the king. I would tempt like a slow stalemate type of thing in which, you know, giving black the opportunity to stalemate their own pieces. They can't, they have enough moves, and then checkmate. But Smirdan also goes for a classic g6, forcing mate in 2 moves. And bishop c3, oh my goodness. Imagine taking that in as the opponent. Imagine playing this game as white. This is Magnus Carlsen on steroids. This is Alpha Zero, trapping the opponent's pieces like crazy and then doing nothing about it. Uncompromising. As much as I like this game, it is time for us to say goodbye once again. But thank you so much for watching. This was Australia's finest game, probably, of online chess. I will call this the suffocation game.